G'day everybody, and welcome back for some more assertive modding. I've actually been working on a fair bit of stuff behind the scenes because it's kind of like dull, not very good for stream sort of stuff. And I wanted to show a little bit of it off after I get my pajama grinder. Yay! So let's spawn in a ship. Oops, caps matter. As you can see, the previous one that spawned had a little bit of different engagement in terms of the radio chatter than what I'd done with this in the past. And you might have noticed that in the Survival Unlikely video from last night too. What I've decided is that instead of the assertive cargo ships and assertive installations talking to the player, I think I prefer the idea of them talking and the player overhearing it. So most of the messages are going to be sent to a sort of command center or to a nearby base or to another ship or to the drones, and then if those drones are there, they'll reply, or the command one will just generically reply. And I think it feels a little bit better. So the example of this is when I get close to the Iapetus. Iapetus? I don't know. It's a hard one to say, that one. Say, identified craft spotted at grid C34. Drone ops on alert. Continue current heading. So it gets a reply after a few seconds from assert command. Just because I don't know, it makes it feel a bit more alive to me, because it doesn't seem right that everything is directed at the player. One of the things that's great about open world games like GTA is that there's so much that goes on around you that feels like you don't need to be necessary for it to happen. That whole feeling of this world actually exists separate to you, I think is something that would be epic if we could even get the tiniest little bit of a taste of that in Space Engineers. So this is sort of the start of that. And over time with the assertive mods, what I want to do is make them interact with each other. So right now this says calling drone support, engage hostiles. What I want this to do eventually is, what's the term? Is kind of radio to the drones that get spawned, and then the drones will actually radio back to it. And if there are additional drones in the area, that can create further events to happen. So it's a bit more interactive, a bit more dynamic with what's actually going on. Yeah, Jesse, I did not have a Tuesday stream because I was at work. And I am not working tomorrow, so there is a Friday stream. I'm actually probably going to be missing a few Tuesday streams in the coming month or two, as I am rostered on for a lot of Tuesdays. Which is just the nature of my job. Sometimes that happens. It's one of the reasons I don't have a stream schedule or anything like that, because I don't get a choice a lot of the time. So, with this radio chatter thing, some of you in Discord who've helped me fill this out this morning would have seen a little bit of this thing, which is my Excel spreadsheet where I'm keeping all of my chats and things so that I can keep track of what should be where, because it's a lot easier for me to track it here than it would be to track it in Notepad, where it's, or in the actual behaviors files, because they're set out like this. And then I have to go and find the next one, which is the reply, which is, where's my reply? Somewhere. I think it's right down the bottom. Somewhere. It's in there somewhere. I can't actually remember now. But yeah, yeah, exactly right. That's kind of the design. This is my design sheet. So I've started padding it, with the help of people in Discord. I've padded out a few of these. Capac helped pad them out a little bit as well. My aim would be to start off with 5 of each response. I'm kind of thinking that might be even the maximum for a lot of them, so that I don't end up with a huge pile of things that sometimes, because I can't easily make it this call gets this response, all of them need to be able to go to any. So potential hostiles observed requesting backup. Any of this list has to be a valid reply. So if they ask a question, if this isn't phrased as an answer, it doesn't really work. So I have to be mindful of that. So it has to be relatively generic. But I honestly think for something like this, generic is probably better. Because if it's not generic, you end up with the situation of being able to remember exactly what the lines are. And I think it actually weirdly gets tired faster if they're really unique. Yeah, so some of these are great. If you guys have... So the Discord kind of went totally off topic when I asked for input on this one. So maybe you guys in chat can do a little bit better this time. I'm trying to pad out this section. At the moment, like my initial implementation is just going to be these two columns. Eventually, this column will be added, and then this one will be the last bit. Because the idea here is the cargo ship's going to call out this when it's actually getting damaged. So this will be on taking damage. And then the command will reply saying that they're going to be helping. Something is coming. The drones are coming. They're going to actually try and support and keep the ship alive. And then the drone controllers, if they're already around, will say something like this. And if there's any nearby assertive installation base, it'll say these things and then send additional drones. So if you attack a cargo ship and there's a few nearby bases, you're going to have a harder time than if those bases were already taken care of. Which gives a little bit of that whole... what's the feeling I'm going for? What's the word I'm going for? Gives a bit of that they own the area sort of thing. Ooh, I like that. Roger that. Interceptors have been dispatched. Yeah. While I like hit damage report, unfortunately, no one's going to give a damage report, so that doesn't really make sense with the generic nature of the next reply. I suppose evading hostile fire could go here. Okay. Oh yeah. Wraith, I'm sure I'm going to break I'm sure these are going to break all sorts of rules on radio etiquette, considering that Capac wanted me to put in things like launch every zig and come on you apes, you want to live forever. Ragnarok, maybe the military ones will have different. For the moment, I'm just going to go generic for all of them, but in the future that is something I could do where the higher end ships, like for example, if I load up my design one, where am I up to? Installations, drones? No, cargo ships. Here we go. Like Jexam's big Chasqui ship, it would probably be more of it's going to be like military clipped, very professional, very serious response. But I want to have all of them having something before I start making specific things that only work for certain ships. Like, I totally agree. Something like the Chasqui, that looks very military and defined. Similarly, the Mantis and the Manta, they look a bit more aggressive, and that's really dark. Oh no, that's just to me. Bright sun. These ones look a bit more like they'd have professional crews, whereas these look a bit more civilian in style to me anyway. So that's kind of what I would like to do. But distant future. Distant future. I was hoping you'd notice that, Jackson, that the Shasqui made it into Survival Unlikely. Where was I up to? Oh, geez. Thank you. I don't know why I typed "and" there. I didn't have these fonts quite so large prior to the stream, so I need to readjust some of these things so I can actually see. So why is Excel running so slowly? I think you would also see traveling ships with a certain color scheme that are carrying military supplies. Not sure about that. The spiders of unusual size. A very big thank you to Chipsticks for that. I had a chat with him, and he actually made that mod specifically for us to use, which is awesome. Absolute champion. And that's why it had the sandwiches. And it was something that I wish I had fewer tells. I wish I could play it calm better when I know something's about to happen, and Capac doesn't. If you go back to when Capac respawns in the medbay and has the repeated spawn, you can actually hear me laughing almost before anything bad happens, because I know it's going to happen. So I need to work on that poker face, because I kind of gave away that I knew the game a little bit. But, you know, yeah, poker voice, I guess. Oh well. Worse things have happened than me giving away the game. What I wanted to show you guys was the new space drones I made, which I showed off some pictures of in Discord and some pictures in, I posted a picture on Twitter as well, didn't I? Is that installations drones, I think? That's a fair point, Tipsy. It does give you guys a bit of a heads up in a... Ooh. I've got a bad feeling about this. Maybe. Yeah, so these are my sexy new drones that I was building off stream, taking advantage of all of the new ions, which look so much better. And I blame Capac for this. There is the Space Wasp. And then there is going to be the Firefly. There we go. Firefly. That's a good point, right? I was watching Capac's footage of that bit. Hopefully you guys have all seen the latest Survival Unlikely, considering what we're talking about. I suppose I should have warned with spoilers. Oh, the red critters are also something from Chipsticks. Chipsticks and go for helping with those ones? Can't remember. But yes, Capac was particularly unobservant in that second bit, even for him. So, thoughts on name for this ship, so I can start adding these into the... so I can start adding space cargo ships in. Yeah. Forced perspective may have been an issue for Capac there. I've got Mayfly. So what are the names we got so far? So I've used Wasp, Hornet, Mayfly, Firefly, Space Wasp, which is quite literally an ion version of the Wasp. And because of Capac, I couldn't resist putting a Space Wasp in. We've got a Mosquito. So I'm kind of thinking still another insect, like flying insect name. Something a little more aggressive. Junebug just sounds too friendly. Yeah, I suppose Dragonfly. This could be a Dragonfly. Yeah, we'll go with Dragonfly for this one because it is fairly broad. And for those of you wondering, I deliberately made this weak point down the center, because it gives it a bit of a vulnerability that it might otherwise not have. Let me see, that's ACS. Dragonfly. Oh, Locust. Locust. I mean, it's going to be a Locust, actually. I like that more. Because I think Pav's already got a Dragonfly in amongst his set of drones that he uses for the assertive bunkers. Because for those of you wondering, Pav actually made those underground bases that we've been exploring in Survival Unlikely. They're using some of the assertive installations bases on the surface. And then, because we worked on a lot of it together. But then he's gone and done a whole lot of extra work on top of it, which means I get to explore bases that I've not made myself, which was why it was so much fun. Where did I put the remote? Yeah, the remote is right there. Maybe I could move it back a block. That might be a little better. That's a good point. Didn't think about it being right there. There we go. All those bases that you see in Survival Unlikely, they're spawned using modular encounters. I don't think the harpoons would be a possible... yeah. Well, Tipsy, they probably would be a possibility, the harpoons, given what Lucas has done with his mod, but with his autopilot, but I wouldn't be planning on putting them on any of mine. Because I don't think, other than shooting you with it once, they would know, like, they'd be able to be programmed to do any sort of useful behavior with the harpoon. I mean, Capac and I couldn't do anything useful with the harpoons, so I don't expect an AI to be able to. LS0. Wait, I think there's a series of numbers on them if you go to it. I don't know why it has an LS something designation on the neons. But I really like the neons for this. I think they look great on the drones. So I need to change the antenna on this one. Antenna needs to be named Locust. Now, a lot of people probably asking me why I'm not putting it in the HUD text. I don't put the name in the HUD text because right now, RivalAI doesn't read HUD text of beacons or antenna, so you need to put the name in the name. Or at least last I checked it didn't. So I need to do that. Cool. There we go. Firefly, Space Wasp, Locust. Yeah, Harpoon Swarm would be two things. It would be effective, and it would also completely kill your physics processing for the game. Capac and I have experienced some interesting collision mechanics once the harpoons are in use. So, what I'm going to do now is just check that these all have ammunition. Batteries are charged. Have I put ammo in those guns? Can I get to that gun? Yes. Got ammo in that one. Have I got ammo in the other one? I should have done it while I was in there. Inventory. What? What you doing to me, game? Yeah, Ragnarok the War. It doesn't need a warhead at the back, because this will explode anyway. Because I've got these drones now set up to trigger an explosion which mostly obliterates them the moment that their remote control gets damaged. Making them hopefully create less lag and physics slowdown because you won't get so much wreckage, but also makes them more dangerous to attack in your suit if you're left with only a grinder. Because the explosion is large enough to kill you. So, be fun when Capac figures that out. I think we're all looking forward to that bit. Yeah, Sonic, that's true. You do lose the danger of getting hit by debris, except until you get attacked by drones this big, because this big, I've left the explosion at a size where it doesn't completely eliminate the drone. And also, if you shoot off part of one of these things, that part doesn't get destroyed. Oh, you weren't a fan of that, Jackson? Not pink enough for you, was it? Would you have preferred the pink with the white neon for your Chasqui? Right. I need... So that's got all the ammo. That I put all the ammo in everything. Yep. Antenna range of all of these I think is set correctly. 5,000. 5,000. 5,000. Alright, so I can export these now. Control C. F11. Export. Then I can try and add the first space-based cargo ship to the new RivalAI version, which is awesome. Yeah, only the part with the remote control explodes and gets deleted. Though sometimes the delete doesn't seem to execute before the grid's gone, so... Because the RivalAI behaviors can only be attached to a functional remote control block, so as soon as the remote control block's no longer functional, you can't have further behaviors happening. So if for some reason it doesn't all happen on the same tick, certain commands won't actually register, is what I've noticed. Explosion is not just an effect. The explosion does damage and has a damage radius. So for the larger drones, where stuff doesn't all get deleted on the same tick, you get an explosion that does damage to the surrounding pieces. Oh yeah. Security detail's not a bad one for this one. Cool. Yeah, with a smaller explosion you could be left with a caught out wreck. I've noticed with the Hornets, the bigger atmospheric drones, that's what often happens, and that's what smashed. That's what you'll see if you haven't seen Survival Unlikely. Sorry, that's what smashed into Capac's ship. Right, I need to open up some things. Ah. Mods. Spare. Alright. So we got our set of cargo ships, data, prefabs. Now, where are the prefabs? Where's my export? Export. Vacuum drones. There we go. Now we got our 3 drones there ready to go. Yes, there have been many things that smashed into Kavak's ship, but within the first couple of minutes of the latest episode is what I'm talking about. Alright, spawn groups. That's what we need to do first. So we've got our mayfly. Why do I have 2 mayflies? What have I done? Oh, right. This is the one that I made a cargo ship of. That's another thing I did. So every now and then, and I made it quite rare, a drone will just spawn as a cargo ship. So it won't have anything it's attached to, it won't have any base it's attached to, and this thing will just hunt you down from wherever it spawns. But there's a decent threat score minimum for it. So it's not so much a rogue, or as you've typoed there, Eisen, rouge drone. It's more of a hunter. Yeah, patrolling drone. That's kind of the idea of it. I wanted it to be rare, but I wanted it to still be a thing that could happen, because I remembered when I accidentally did that in Assertive Cargo Ships, it was actually kind of fun to have this drone that just came out of nowhere. And it'll also make the assertive installations a lot harder to pin down if Assertive Cargo Ships is occasionally sending a random drone, because you won't know if it came from one of the bases or if it just came from nowhere. Mosquito, Wasp, Hornet. And then I've got these multi-spawn ones for the higher difficulty cargo ships. So we need to go down to space drones. Let's grab one of the single spawns and copy it and set things up. Grab our spawn group. Down, space drones. Yeah, it's a very assertive one. RivalAI spawn true. That should all be fine. Now I just need to match the name to these. And this needs to change because I'll need to create a new behavior profile for the space ones. Do I have any random Atmo rogues set up to fly in really low without a beacon? No. If I knew how to do things like that, I might. But I don't know. And I'm still at the stage of trying to get the RivalAI edition up to kind of content parity to the old version. And once I've got content parity, that's when I'm going to replace the old version with the RivalAI version, and then I can start doing fun little bits and pieces. Because that should be something good, I think. Once I can do all that. And that's why I need to keep doing these streams intermittently, so I can get all that stuff up to speed. Because I really want to play with these mods. Like, I want this stuff to be in Survival Impossible and Survival Unlikely at a level where Capac and I, or just myself, will be facing them properly. Yeah, Rush, it is possible to do that. So it's possible to have a drone spawn in next to a cargo ship and stay close like an escort. And I might do that with some of the larger cargo ships, so they start with a drone present. But then I'm going to have to create an individual behavior profile for that particular type of drone. Which I haven't done yet. But yeah, I know how to do that. I just haven't gotten around to doing things to that level just yet. Let's pop this in here, and then all these three have a spawn group, and that way we can start setting up the whatchamacallit, the next space cargo ship, or the first space cargo ship. So, first space cargo ship. Yeah, I kind of like the idea that some of the higher level drones will end up with some more what's the word I'm looking for? Some more challenge by having drones already present, which gives you multiple targets and makes it a lot harder to attack them, and hopefully drops off a few of those more cheesy tactics by having more places that more ways that gunfire can come at you. Alright, let's... Oh yeah! Oh yeah! That's the thing I was meaning to tell you guys. You might have noticed this bright green neon line of cargo containers here. Well, this is a blueprint I created, which has a whole bunch of different little... Whoops. Of different stories in it. So that I can have them all on my person and put them in to these cargo ships around the place. Which means it's worth exploring the ships because they've got some little bits and pieces on them. Now. And what have I got on me? I think I've got mostly generic ones. Yeah. Some of you might recognize this. So that's all. Use anywhere. That's what I'm carrying. Base only. Oh, actually, I might paste. Put those in there. I might paste in a new one of these so that I can grab the ones for the space cargo ships. Master Maniac, I did consider putting the shields on the drones. One of the reasons I haven't is I just never got round to it. But I think in the future, I'm probably not going to play with shields in my survival games. The reason being that I think it's better to bring the player down to the drones level than bring the drones up to the player's level. There's more potential in making it a bit more balanced that way. There's less of that escalating pattern of if I've got it, then I've got to give it to them, and then it's just this power creep constant thing that happens, which I feel takes away from the whole experience. Alright, let's start with the guppy, I think, since it's here and they're all drones. Yeah. I'll be sad to get rid of these drones, but kind of happy to get rid of them too. These ones with the turrets. Now, this is another little trick that I'm glad you guys will see and Capac won't. So, turret. All of the new turrets have idle movement off. Because I don't want the turrets giving away that they're still active. I made a mini croissant. Sort of. I'm planning on doing new medium turrets with drones, Soldica, rather than using the ones that I'd made previously, because the ones that I made previously were built around the idea that I only had turrets, whereas I prefer the idea that instead of that I've got like something that I could put fixed guns on and things like that, rather than just tacking fixed guns onto the existing ones. Alright. Now, since this is Eisen's ship, I'm going to have to find... There we go. The right book. To put in the bed. Because beds can carry books if you get in them. Oh, I keep forgetting that I can press I and open it. Don't think toilets can. No. Which is a pity. I wanted to put like joke magazines on the toilets. That's probably all I need to do for the guppy, actually. Thanks, Kenneth. Yeah, I hope... Like, the idea behind the assertive mods was just to up that challenge and hopefully, with the help of the community with all these ships, add a lot of extra variety. Now I need to rename this grid because I've changed the way I name them. NPC-ACS, because people who manage servers prefer it. Alright. That is the guppy. F11. Export. Now... need to create a spawn group for that, and then we can test these new drones with some basic behaviors relatively soon after that. Space-based cargo ships. I think I've not put them in the thing, and no antenna is no longer a group because we don't use the antenna anymore, which I'm so happy about. Space cargo ship. True. Now, in our RivalAI folder, I need to go to behaviors, and it'll be small atmo drone behavior needs to be copied and create and change to small space drone behavior. I knew I should have done this earlier in the morning when Lucas is still awake so that I could get some help if I needed it, and then it'll be atmo easy that I want to copy and create space easy. So open that one and open that one. I honestly don't know if Keen would ever consider adding modular encounters to the main game. It would be epic if they did, because Lucas has made a far more effective spawner than theirs. But I don't know. I've now got to replace atmo in all of these with space. Control F. Replace. Find what? Atmo. Replace with space. Oh, no. Find space. Nope, that's not how you spell space. And replace with space. There we go. Same with this. So threat level is a calculation of your blocks within the area that the modder specifies to be checked. I use an 8-kilometer radius because I think that's reasonable to allow people to not have their distant bases of impacting them. I thought you'd like that, Eisen. Which book I chose to put in there. I was thinking of putting one of your little book chapters, which are awesome, by the way, in there, but I thought you'd prefer that for the guppy. Right. So that's those done. Now I just need to go back to my spawn groups and set the guppy up to be small. What's the name of my thing? Small space easy. Space drone behavior. Yeah, this should be okay now. Let's see what I've broken. Let's test it. Yeah, Batty, I saw that Lucas had made that comment, and I completely agree. I don't think it's a mess, and they would never want it. I think it's one of the most meaningful mods in terms of player interaction with the vanilla experience, because all it does is enhance the vanilla experience by having some NPCs. You don't need to have any content mods, you don't need to have anything else, and you can still have a really great time with it. But I guess if he's saying that, then Lucas hasn't been approached. You're welcome, Trinity Boy. Hopefully I've been able to share a bit of the fun in Space Engineers with a whole bunch of people. And a few of the ways that I've found to make it even more fun.
Fuel critical.
Well, the game didn't crash and there were no loading errors. This is a good start. Let's go to space. /mes.spawn space cargo ship. Yay! Got the command right. The guppy has spawned. The guppy is moving. Oh, this guppy has no antenna. Right. I don't know how I'm going to find it. Because I kind of want to approach it slowly. Guppy. Where are you at? Wait, is it moving? It is not moving, I don't think. Start here. Just above the moon. I wonder if I'm going to get any spawns around it. I might have to just teleport to it. Oh! Okay, that's not the behavior I was expecting. I think it's got drone behavior. See you, Sonica. Good day at work. Already 20 minutes late. Whoops. Oh, thanks, Kelsithian. Or Kelsithian. Yep, there is a guppy drone now, Eisen. Huh. I kind of think it's almost, in a weird way, it's almost cute watching these big ships behave like a drone. It's kind of fun. Huh. Is that out of ammo already? Might be. That might need more ammo. Oh, I would be very tempted to keep this like like that for the final version, but I don't think I will. I do want to have some large grid things like that, though. Space cargo ship, true. Wait, please? Ah, it needs to be RivalAI spawn false for the cargo ship. Because these ones are not RivalAI spawn. RivalAI spawns. There we go. Let's try this again. Yeah, the fight bright. Exactly, Jackson. Eisen, if you make an angry guppy, I will be very tempted to make that into a drone. I could make a small grid version of the guppy. It is quite a cute design, and you could totally replicate it in small grid. Yeah, it's not. Lucas has zero plans to make rover drones a thing, because every time he gets asked about it, he's like, he can't even drive a regular drone rover. But some people have got like hovercraft vehicles that they've put into their MES mods. I'm not planning on doing that though.
Fuel critical.
I'm sorry, my little guppy friend, you're going to have to get deleted. What? I think it just spawned that when I did that. Mustn't have put suppressed vanilla spawns on. Dang it! Need that string so that I can spawn specifically it dot that. There we go. I was ridiculously lucky that that's what I got last time. Guppy. Seems static again. Why are you still being a drone? You're not a drone! Why do you insist on being a drone? Just wondering, did that rotate to match my orientation? It totally did! Totally rotating to match my orientation. I think. Ah. Yeah, you could be right, Eisen. It could be something to do with the grab gen. Alright, this is... What have I broken? Space easy behavior. RivalAI behavior passive. Oh, I think I know what I've stuffed up. No. Speed is that. Okay. Space cargo ship true. Lunar cargo ship false. Space random encounter false. Atmospheric cargo ship false. Planetary station false. RivalAI spawn false. Faction assert. Which is false. ACS space easy behavior, which is this one, which is a passive behavior type. So it shouldn't be doing this. I don't understand. Oh yeah, I should turn the spotlight back on. It was turned off for the ridiculous number of lights I had in the scene when I had all the cargo ships in. But I should probably turn it back on when I take the prefab. Wait a second. This is the wrong type of behavior. No, it's not. Let's trigger death on this one. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I made all of the remote controls explode. There's like, so Isaac, the behaviors that are attached to it are attached to it through the spawn group. There's no script or anything like that that's put in it with RivalAI, which is one of the reasons it's a much better framework than using programmable block-bound scripts. So as far as I can gather, we're spawning in the Guppy. It's spawning in as a space cargo ship. And it should just be passively moving along at 25 meters a second. Space easy behavior is a copy of... Hold up. No, that's right. I just thought I might have typoed. Yes, I am missing a hyphen. Because there's no hyphen in the file name, but there is in the subtype. Well spotted. Thank you, Wraith. Whoops. Amcoder have done many, many, many times. Yes. Let's see if that fixes it. Do we have anything? No. Let's do a quick load. Actually, let's save and do a quick load. I think a quick load should fix it. This will be great if I've got the first space cargo ship set up, because then it makes it a lot easier for me to add all the other ones that we already have in the other mod, and hopefully that means it's only a few weeks away before the Assertive Cargo Ships gets replaced with the RivalAI edition, which I've actually ditched the old one for both Survival Unlikely and Survival Impossible. They're both only using the RivalAI versions now. So hopefully if there are issues, I will run into them and I can notice them and fix them. Right, spawn a guppy. It's stopping. Why does it stop? It's still stopping. Oh. It spawned a mayfly, which isn't helpful. We'll have to fix that. It is not behaving like a drone anymore. Now I just have to work out why it decides to stop itself.
Energy low.
Yeah, it's gone full passive mode. I mean, apart from the bullets. No, we saw it slow down, so it wouldn't be a station. Why would that be happening? There's something atmospheric specific that I put in this. Don't think there is. So these are all just chat commands and then distances for drones to spawn from me, from the attacker. Yeah. And it should have, if anything, it should have increased its autopilot speed because of the settings I've got to make it do that. So why? That's a fair point, Wraith. Maybe I will go back to my other one and I'll create another blueprint and see if there's something funny happening with the prefab or if it's something with what I've done. There's no antenna on it, which means you won't get the broadcast from it. So I probably need to add an antenna to everything. I don't think ions need to be set up differently, but one thing I'm going to quickly do before I forget is turn that on. Where's the beacon? It's under there. We lose the beacon. Did I stick an antenna on this one? Oh yeah, I stuck it at the back, where that turret is. don't know how much it's... Oh. What? Isaac, did you mean to do that? Have a slope there instead of a full block. Yes, there is a light on the bottom too. There's an antenna look sticking out the bottom there. Don't know about that. So if you're wondering why I keep asking Eisen about this, it's because this is one of his designs. Where shall I put an antenna? Don't want to get rid of that turret, not for this one. I think an antenna dish might look just as silly. Or more silly. Yeah, we're not doing that. Yeah, I might have to pop it underneath the cargo containers. Oh. Hold up. What if we do this? How long is an antenna? Oh yeah, it's pretty long. Too long for what I was thinking. I'm gonna have to do this. The guppy! It's the little ship with the big dish. Yes. This'll work. Visually. Start there. And if I get rid of all of those windows... I might need to get rid of one more thing. Oh no, that was what was holding him on. Of course. There's not much room on the back. I think I might have to lose this connector. The guppy's actually pretty tight for space on the back because of that turret. I think that might be the best option for this one. Do I have the windows on here? Don't think I do. Oh wow, that's going to create some interesting wreckage. Because that slope is the main attachment point for these pieces. Interesting. Yeah, I suppose the turret could go up there and then the Antenna would have to stick down lower. I think I'm okay with these two variants for now. Let's just fix up the stuff I stuffed up. There we go, that's nice and fixed. Cool. Alright, so the Guppy has an antenna now, so we'll actually get chat broadcasts and we'll see it. Guppy. 5,000's fine. I think the space. This needs to say Guppy. And increase my radius. That's true, Eisen. There is the Super Guppy, and now you do have to make the Angry Guppy. The Angry Guppy can shout things like, "Get off my lawn." Alright, so I had to fix up the spotlights, I had to add the antenna, and what else do I have to do to make this one work properly? That was all I had to do at the moment, wasn't it? So let's export it. I'll replace the other one before I forget. Get rid of that. Okay, that's updated. Let's get the second one out. Angry Guppy. Back in my day, pirates used to declare their intentions before attacking. Kids these days. Yeah. That sounds perfect. Let's turn off the beacon. And I'll turn on the spotlights so that we get the right look for this one too. What I might do with this, instead of just copy pasting like I normally do, I might start from kind of scratch and try and write this one up to see if I come to a different result to what I've got with the other one. Alright, Control C, F11. Export. So, Guppy 1 and Guppy 2. Let's get Notepad up. Spawn groups. Don't need that open either. It's just getting in the way. So is that. So is that. Right. Oh, hold up. I have an idea. Assertive. Not the test build, the original. If I open up the spawn groups for my space drones and see if there's something different about them, something else that I'd set for them. I've contemplated adding sound stuff for the chats. I'm thinking I might do it. I'm just trying to figure out a way to modify the audio of them so that they're not irritating, because I want to make sure they're not loud but still audible, but also need to have them so that you don't get sick of hearing it. So it's kind of not like playing Pod Racer and constantly hearing Anakin say the same barks over and over and over again, giving you a tick by the end of it. Now, let's have a look and compare the Guppy. So the Guppy 01, modular encounter spawn group. Space cargo ship, true. I don't need to worry about the block name replacer because I'm not doing the stuff with the antenna anymore. Yeah, Rush, I as I was saying at the start of the stream, I'm leaning more towards chatter between the assertive stuff rather than directed at the player. Is pirate. I don't know that is that tag needed anymore? It's set to true anyway. Why? Why do you suddenly stop? I don't understand. I might have to put this one to Lucas if I can't figure it out. No, let's start from this one this time. Not that I think I've got anything wrong, but or anything different. What was there? Yeah, Wraith, I'm thinking of having it fairly low fidelity radio. I'd still like people to be able to make out the words since the chat lines are going to be up on the screen. But yeah, that's kind of the way I'm leaning a bit, is something pretty muffled and pretty messy. Oh, it's use RivalAI is true. Oh, no, that's true too. Haven't capitalized any of these, have I? No. Actually, no, replenish systems. Atmospheric cargo ship is false. Need to add that. True. Yeah, like the Escape from Mars convoy radio. I just haven't looked up how to what's the word I'm trying to think of? I haven't looked up how to modify audio in the ways I wanted. I achieved something along those lines. I wonder if I've got the files around here somewhere. Let me just try and test this, and then someone in chat remind me to show off the example of some audio that I kind of tried out. RivalAI replace remote control. True. I'm going to try this one with the Atmo medium behavior. I know it's weird, but I wonder if there's something funny going on. Use my menu, save. Yeah, Gruz, I've done pretty much that, but there's something missing in what I did that still didn't make it feel right. It didn't feel static. I think I may need to add some static, but I'd need to find a good static track to do that with. But there might be some other alterations I'd need to make. Right, try this again. Spawn number 2 this time and see if that one works. Yeah, thanks, guys. Stay on target. Too many distractions. I always have too many distractions. Alright. Wait for everything to load so that I can spawn number 2. What the? It stopped. It doesn't want to move. I don't believe so, Ragnarok. I don't see any way that the two could be interfering with each other because they've got different names. So they're not, like, although to us, 1 and 2 are similar, to the spawner, to the game, to everything, they're as different as they could be. Because they're not identical.
Energy low.
Do you know how to get the debug stuff up, Final Event? Because I don't. No, see, Ragnarok, I didn't duplicate the guppy. I actually created a separate spawn for this second one, using a different start point than the other one. That's what I was doing here. So this one I created as a copy of these drones. This one I created as a copy of an already working and functional atmospheric cargo ship. For some reason, the space cargo ships aren't working. Like even spawned, it just seems to want to stop itself. It's like it almost seems like the cargo ship doesn't have its, like, its destination locked in that it wants to head towards. Because the way these cargo ships work is they spawn, they move towards a destination, and then they despawn. It's almost like it's lacking the despawn, like that location that it's trying to head towards. And I feel like I've run into this problem before with the atmospheric ones that just hovered. Normally it's when you don't have a gyroscope on board. But these have all worked with previous versions of MES. Just don't know why they wouldn't be working here. Yeah, behavior set to passive, because this one is actually using an atmospheric one, and this one's using the Space Easy. The Space Easy, if we go right to the top, is set to behavior passive. And what's even stranger is that it's not triggering it's triggering the spawns, but it's not triggering, where is it? These autopilot speeds. No, you don't have the name of the spaceship in the behavior file. The spawn group over here directs MES and RivalAI to the correct behavior file, which in this case is a generic one for easy spaceships. Rather than having a behavior file for every single ship, I have groups of ones that are similar. Genuinely don't know what else to do here. I might have to put this one to Lucas to see whether he can work out why. Wraith, I don't have a working space cargo ship yet. At all. This is the first one. So, and there's nothing going on in the F11 screen because that's just the loading thing. And I don't know the command. I can't remember the commands and not sure I could interpret it properly anyway. Once I turn on RivalAI's debug. This right here is why I normally try and do these streams at a time that lines up when Lucas is awake, because he often comes along to them and would probably tell me how to fix this. The bit where I've defined that it's a spaceship is here. So they are defined as space cargo ships. Unless that tag is different for some reason now. Maybe it's different. Let's have a look. This might be worth investigating. Yeah. Sure, Colonel Will. You could hit it with a rock. Although it's probably more likely in this case that we'll hit a rock with it. Where was I going? I want this. No. General settings, I think it is. That's all the configs. I should make this bigger so it's a bit easier for you guys to read. Oh, that's too big. Trying to remember where in this, where on the GitHub the thing for the spawn group settings is. Maybe it's, is there a spawn group? Custom spawn group. Here we go. Space cargo ship value. I've got that correct. Ah, here we go. I think we might need this set to true. Let's try that. Ah, gotta love Lucas's documentation. Seriously, the man is amazing for how much he's documented in this stuff. I always seem to miss stuff like this.
Fuel critical.
I think one of my biggest problems
No
is
energy.
I always forget that there might need to be a couple of extras, that there's an extra step. Like Lucas has most of these things set up so you have to enable a particular function and then use the function, and I always forget to enable the particular function. Let's see what happens now. Guppy. That seems like a guppy that's still flying. Yep. That is a guppy that is still flying. Alright. Sweet. We did it! That is not close enough. I need to get closer. I think in space we might need antenna ranges that are larger, so that we actually see these ships go past. Sometimes I think developers add in additional API calls just to mess with people writing the code. It feels like it. Although Lucas did explain to me one day why he does stuff that way, and it's to try and be more efficient, because if it's not called, it doesn't get loaded, and so it saves a bit of processing time. There we go. Unidentified craft spotted. Drone ops on alert. Continue current heading. And thanks, guys. Thanks, Final, for finding the debug. Hopefully, we won't need it. And Tux. So now that seems to be working. Alright, drone support's coming in. Let's get it nice and close and check that the other behaviors are working. And then I've got to start getting some space wasps spawning. How long did we... I think I just spent like 25 minutes trying to figure out that bug. Hide. No! No, don't shoot my feet. Okay, we're at 50 meters a second. Now we go up to 70. Yeah. It's working! It's working! Speaking of barks that were so incredibly annoying to constantly hear while playing Episode 1 Razor. So, next step is to change the space easy behavior to load these drones instead. Not these drones. The space ones instead. And then check if the space drones are working. So we'll start with the Firefly. It's the baby of the three. Now where are our spawns? Find spawn. There we go. Firefly, Locust, and Space Wasp. Oh, I forgot to add drone after these names. I'm going to have to fix that potentially for consistency's sake. Because I've got a Wasp cargo ship that someone made as well. Grab those. Yeah, I'm willing to bet that Lucas is going to tell me something along those lines, Final, that you don't use it for autopilot at all and there's something else that I've stuffed up and this has just happened to override my other stuff up. But it's working for now, so we can at least test the drones and other things. Alright, that's everything, I think. I need to fix for those. That should make my space drones spawn. Unintentional fixes describes half of... Yep. Describes half of any sort of fixing process, really. Unintentionally fixing stuff while unintentionally breaking other stuff.
No energy.
Thanks, your Yoda DeWolf. We have a guppy. The guppy is moving. Oh. Yay! it did the proper thing this time. Okay, Space Wasp. You are approaching. You're accelerating. This is good. Let's have a look at it on close up. Ah. Oh, jeez. Okay, it's shooting at me. Oh, that thing's gonna be nasty. Blammo! Hey! Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Story of programming. It doesn't work and I don't know why. It's working and I don't know why. Yep. Things I am slowly learning. Ah, Eisen, this has bullet trails. Bullet trails isn't as bright as it was. Something changed in the last in one of the hot fixes or one of the updates. And now isn't as obvious. Just sad. You probably noticed it in Survival Unlikely in the episode last night. So it's the same problem. It seems that there are other mods that have the same thing, but they're still not. I mean, the bullets are still a lot brighter than they would be in vanilla. Like there are traces on everything, but they're not as big as they were, or as obvious for some reason. Alright, Locust, let's see what you can do. Oh, this is not better. I should really have the, oh. I should really have relative spectator on. Yeah, I'm thinking I might up the explosion range for some of the bigger drones. Oh, that's a lot of bullets. Yes, shoot your own ship. Come on. Oh, the drones will very much attack this if I land inside it. And do a lot of damage. Because those locusts have 4 guns on the front. I might need to
No energy.
they're pretty nasty. I might need to step these up to just be medium drones because they've got the 4 cannons. They put out a lot of hate. I get them to shoot each other. Boom! Boom. That's always fun. Tuxmelf, not yet. I don't have any of the dead engineers in them yet. I haven't decided, but some of the new installations do. Ooh. Let me show you guys some things. So that's some good progress. Let me show you the installations that I've done. Because they've also gotten the same treatment with additional story elements with the data pads. Installations, base build. I think it's this one. Yeah, this is the one. So when I've been really tired after shifts and stuff like that, I've been doing a little bit of work on these to try and enhance the mods, and I decide... Oh, sound examples. Thank you for the reminder. Hold up. Yeah, here.
All friendlies, we are under attack. Calling all friendlies, we are under attack.
See?
Calling all
how loud's
friendlies,
that for
we
you
are
guys?
under attack.
Hopefully loud enough.
Calling all friendlies, we are under attack. Calling all friendlies, we are under attack. Calling all friendlies, we are under attack.
So that's kind of what I've got so far with that. But here are a few of my new bases. So these are the updated ones of... So these are all the old ones. The ones that are in the current version of the mod. And these are the ones... So the ones that I've deleted and moved over, I'm moving over here so that I know what I've made progress on. And I'm thinking I'm going to get rid of these outposts from the mod. They don't fit the new theme. Now that we've got decorative blocks, I don't need to go so alien and weird with the designs. So I started designing a new medium-sized... What's the word? Why am I having word-finding difficulties today? So I wanted to make a new medium-sized base. And that's when I worked on this thing. Which is a drone facility. Which takes advantage of the neon lights as cables to create a little bit of extra detail around there. As well as taking advantage of the big doors. And I've used railings over here just to create a little bit of a lip on it, which I think worked out pretty well. And then I've used the lettering on top. Which is, I think works out quite nicely. Yeah, the tree bases have... They're a nice thing to remember, but I think it's time to move on from them. So let's have a look inside. Got some nice underneath defense. Using rounded blocks for the sake of using rounded blocks, because I can. So we come up into here. Open the door. This is a nice little trick that I had not used before and I quite like, is the half ladder going down to a window and then you can walk around it. It leaves just enough room for you to walk around. There's a nice little bottom of a stairwell for a little like workshop area. More workshop down here. The new interior walls, the sci-fi interior walls I'm using here because I quite like them. For a bit of extra variety. I don't know why so many of the blocks in Space Engineers have what look like RCA inputs. And we got our drone bay hangar thing. no hinges, because no subgrids, because subgrids go weird. The last thing I'd want to do is create something that spawns in that causes someone's game to slow down because of a subgrid going wonky. Then we got our living area, that little bar over here, because I wanted an extra bit of bench. It looks a bit funny, but I'm okay enough with it, I think, that I'll probably still use the benches as just extra kitchen space to make the kitchens look a bit bigger. I wish we could have a variant on this that didn't look so much like a, well, like a bar, and looked a bit more like a regular kitchen. That's the sun going through the thing. It's not a through the turbine, not a rotating light. So yeah, I thought this base worked out pretty well, and then the bathroom's in here. But this was a night when I wanted to do something, but I wasn't really up for streaming, so I thought I'd build up another base. It's got all sorts of little bits and pieces in a few of the boxes. I'm starting to add some stuff that vaguely looks like loot inside the bases, inside the cargo ships. Usually just a couple of bits of ammo and the story blocks and that sort of stuff. So if I go into these cargo... Nope, wrong ones. These ones. We've got some construction components, a power kit, and a captain's log. Yeah, I suppose re-recording the audio, like playing it through my speakers and having my microphone recorded again, could do something that works okay. I was hoping to create like an automated profile of effects in Audition that I could use to just apply it to all the same, so they all sound similar-ish. But yeah, haven't really worked that far yet. Oh, there's nothing on this TV. I think I designed part of this base on a stream previously. Yeah. But what I also wanted to show was something I did differently. So these bases I've changed up a bit, but nothing too exciting. This base is something a bit different. I decided for the installations, it could be some fun having some dead astronauts and some damaged bases that are still doing some automated stuff, but are mostly abandoned. So this one still has a functional antenna, so it's still going to spawn stuff, but when you get there, it has already some damage and some story to it. So make sure you, when you play with the RivalAI editions of these mods, have a look through the cargo containers, because there's stuff there to be found. Yes, this will eventually run out of power, which is also semi-deliberate. If you came across this with it damaged and it's run out of power, that fits the story too. But by then it will probably have sent several drones your way and been somewhat mean to you, so I figure it's fair enough if you get a free base out of that. Yeah. That's kind of the idea. I'm interested what you guys think about whether this base should come along. I kind of want it to because of the jumping spider ship that I made and the boss base version of it that Pav made. But I'm not certain it really fits in with the aesthetic that I went for with these smaller ones. Unless I go like full military with it. This does have a rework to the interior, I think. Yep. Oops. It's all modernized. With various decorative bits and pieces. All the beds around here. Yeah, the Surrender Now ships are the ship version of this base. If that falls on you, it does a lot of damage. Probably more damage than any of its guns do. Nice one, Ragnarok. Ah, a receptionist. Yes. There is a receptionist behind that desk. Oh yeah, I suppose I could limit it to which planets these can spawn on, so they're not on your Earth-like planet. The Earth-like planet can stick to the newer versions, but these could possibly be just for the alien planet, Mars and Titan or something like that, or Triton. That's a good thought. It's the kind of thought I'm going to forget, so hopefully someone else remembers and reminds me to do it when I get around to that. What I thought I might do for the rest of this stream, since we've got working space cargo ships, is I'm going to load up that drone creation world, and since that Space Hornet is... Space Locust is so tough, it might be worth me making a new third small drone. Oh yeah, you could do frozen skin versions for Triton, couldn't you? For some things. I wonder how many people on the Discord would be willing to paint my bases for me. Oh yeah, don't forget to rename with drone. Good point. Terminal. Info. That one's right. That's kind of a cool idea, right? That the tree bases look like they're automated installations, just drop down and just penetrate into the planet and lock themselves in place. Maybe I could feed into that idea somehow as a way to potentially update them and keep them. The trouble I found when I was trying to redesign them was there's not enough interior space. So what I may end up doing if I want to keep that design is actually completely rebuild the whole thing, but build it bigger so that I have room for decorative spaces inside. So I want a drone. These are kind of neatly all in a sequence, but I want something that sits between the Firefly and the Wasp, I think. So what I might do is actually start off with... try making something with small batteries this time. That could be better. Then I can get a little bit more creative with the design. So it doesn't have to have that same box. Yeah, the painting of the bases to make them work on Triton won't be as easy as you might think, because most of the bases have the interior face, have the wall blocks visible from the inside as well. So you'll have to pick and choose which blocks need to be painted as snowy so that it doesn't look funny on the inside, or rework the base in some way so that it doesn't look funny having the snow texture on the inside. What sort of overall shape should I go for? Oh. What about something like this? We go... and then we turn on some mirror. So I go with something like wide. Put cannons actually further out rather than centered, so their spread of bullets will be quite far. Greasesmoke, you can build into the ground with modular encounters. You can even have them clear out the voxels. That's how those underground bases work. Yeah, Final, that's kind of the issue, is trying to do any of these sorts of things to lots of bases takes a lot of work. Sure, let's try sticking the guns right out on the side. What other functional blocks do we need? Need an antenna, which I might put in the middle here. Need some gyros. Put them in the middle. Crag Ironwood, that would be amazing if we had a broken window block. Having broken blocks at all would be great. It'd be so useful for so many different things. I just need to have thrusters now, right? 2 back. Forward. 1, 2 to the side. Might just go 3 lifting, 3 downward thrusters. Hold up, I could go 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. Well, maybe not actually. Let's go out here instead. Yeah. Oh yeah, I want to make a drone taller than it is wide. I just ended up going wide for this one. This one could easily be flipped. Like, you could have a variant of this that attacks you vertically by just flipping the remote control block. I might lose that. So we got forward, backwards, left, right, up, and down. Now I just need greeble. Need some armor designs over this, some style. Yeah, it does have a bit of that crabbish sort of feel to it, with the wide stance that it's got at the moment. Well, the wide stance that it has. What could I do to cover up this remote in an interesting way? What have we got? I wish these were available for small grid in some way. I think I'm just going to have to do it with armor. Since the remote's dead center, I might just give it a little bit of protection. Even though this is light armor. Ooh, let's do something that I don't normally do. Put that on there. Just, it's not going to make any lick of difference because it's small grid light armor. I mean heavy armor, but still. It might make it absorb 1 or 2 more bullets. cube, then. And I want that block, I think. Oh no, I've forgotten his name. For a second, staring at those little bits, it reminded me of the eyebrows of the fat little deposed monarch character in Farscape. The puppet. I can't think of what it's called. What his name is. Rigel! Thank you, Eisen. Yeah, it reminded me of Rigel for a second. That's why I just broke up laughing. Just immediately saw Rigel's eyebrows. Don't know how I'm going to feel about these gyros being exposed. I sort of like it at the moment, but I may not once we're done. You and me both, Wraith. I've been meaning to watch it recently. Rewatch Farscape. It's been a while since I last watched it. Go around to this, I think. Could work. Not sure how you do any sort of hidden stuff on something this small. It's kind of... It's a lot of what you see is what you get. Unless you make it big enough to hide certain blocks in them. Okay, that's the center, which is always the bit that I hate doing because it never works out like I imagine. Now let's go with the outer parts. I didn't know that, Eisen. That Zan was in the... Is that... I presume that's the original Mad Max you're talking about? Or are you talking about the recent one? Fury Road. I knew she'd done a fair bit of other stuff before she'd done Farscape. And apart from Crichton, pretty much all of the... Well, and Claudia Black, pretty much all of the... actors were Australian, so it makes sense that there would be someone from something like that. Farscape was such an amazing show. It was a perfect example of why so many more sci-fi shows should probably use puppets, because you can make aliens that are truly alien, rather than because you're using human actors and you don't want to have to get them up into weird outfits and use too much CG and things like that. You end up using predominantly humanoid shapes with just a little bit of makeup. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do love a lot of the aliens from the Orville, but and shows like that, but Farscape had something special to it because of its puppets. Let's give these a little bit of a pointy bit on the tail. Yeah, CG is probably cheaper, but when Crichton would and the others would physically interact with Rigel or the other puppets, it felt better. To me, anyway. Than anything I've seen in CG. Because it carried the exact... like, because it had that proper physical weight to the interaction. Yeah. Though, Vash, do you think Stargate had the humanoids because of the law, or the law because they wanted to be all humanoid for it? I mean, I love Stargate. I'm not going to badmouth Stargate, but I reckon that's probably why they decided to go that route, because it does make life a lot easier. It's like how all the aliens spoke English. There are certain things you have to do just to make your show actually work. I don't know that I'm... This is going to sound like heresy, but I don't know that I'm that interested in a new Stargate show. I think the somewhat sudden cancellation, or at least sudden to me at the time, cancellation of Atlantis. Since then, I haven't actually watched... Like, I didn't watch any Stargate SGU or anything like that, just because I think it burned me on it. It's too chunky. It's too chunky. Yes, I did build an upside-down Space Invader. If you hadn't noticed, a number of these designs take a little bit from that sort of aesthetic, which is not entirely accidental. It was accidental initially, and then I leaned into it because I think it's a cool design for the drones. Like, all these angular bits of armor, the bits sticking out, the no smooth surface sort of thing. I feel like it works for these drones. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a shape I need to add there. Yes, I am catching up to Capac's death count in Survival Unlikely. I have died a lot more than him in recent episodes. Thanks for the reminder, Dilettante. Oh, Gannet! Yes! That's awesome! We can call this one the Monarch. For so many reasons. Like, because, you know, it fits because insects... I mean, I know that a monarch butterfly isn't exactly a threatening insect, but because of Rigel, oh, yes, love it. Nice. Awesome. I want a little... What do I? I felt like I wanted a little thing off the bottom, but that's kind of what the Locust has. So maybe not. Maybe. Maybe this will be enough? Just something small? Whoops. What do you reckon? With or without those last two blocks I added? Oh, hang on. Let's turn off mirroring, and I'll get rid of it on one side. Whoops. I apparently didn't turn off mirroring. I'm a duck. I forgot that you need to interact with those keys when you're actually looking at the thing. Oh, we've got one with and one without. Can you design a drone that chases Capac and tries to squash him? Yeah, something there, but something less chunky. I'm just thinking the same thing. Wonder if this will work well enough. Nope. What about that? Very much looks like a face missing the jaw. Move that out of the way. We got eyes. We got a nose. We got angry eyebrows. And then we need a laughing jaw down here that's detached from it. That's what I'm saying anyway. Yeah. I think I'm happy with this. Now I just got to paint the neon bits. So you can't have this thing without the neon. Oh no! Ah! Doing the wrong bits. Ooh. You know what? Wasn't what I intended to do, but I kind of like those two bits on the side. Oh. Catching up on chat and struggling to realize where I lost track of it. Do you think you could make a drone that separates into smaller ones when you get close to it? Yes and no. Yes, I think I could. No, I don't think I could make it work as well as I would like to. Oh, so some of you may have noticed the block edges on the neon look heaps nicer. They're much more subtle. They're just those little lines. So if it's a nice option for like hiding the generic grey coloured bits. Alright, let's see what it looks like as I paint the ion thrusters. Not the guns. Actually, not those either. They looked better before. Yeah, exactly, Wraith. It's nice because they blend in much better to the rest of the block. It's annoying that Keen have the ability to do this and haven't given it to us for other blocks. It'd be really nice if we got it for some more blocks. I'm gonna go with these, then paint these back as grey. Yeah, that's better. think that's good. Yeah, it does have a bit of a crown look. It's got a lot of reasons to be called the Monarch. Terminal. Info. NPC ACS Monarch drone. Okay. Let's set up the antenna to be named correctly. Oops. Oh, broadcast radius. No, these can stay at 5,000. I need to up the ones on the cargo ships to say 8 kilometers, I think, for space, just to be able to spot them from a bit further away. Guns, ammo. Awesome. I wonder how many of these drones would be easily modified to be able to tolerate lunar gravity. Get the impression most of them are a bit too heavy. Let's copy this one, and I'm going to pop a camera on the front and fly it for a little bit just to see how it feels as well. In terms of those thrusters, whether they might need it, and whether the batteries are going to be an issue. Oh, I keep forgetting the remote cameras are hidden behind the remote controls. Control. Gyros are fine. Yeah, it's not running into power problems. It's got 19 minutes of power at full thrust. So, at the moment, for the RivalAI version of the mod, I've got the drones set to destroy themselves after between 10 and I think 15 minutes. Or it might be 12 and 18 or something like that. So that they'll retreat and get themselves deleted. Yeah, it's a bit drifty, but it's not too bad. I feel it's kind of right to have a bit of drift in space. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Let's get some third person. I'll pop a seat on it so that I can fly it a bit more usefully. Yeah. I gotta do this. The average power time for the drones, I think, is just a bit under half an hour before they run out of battery power. At least on the Atmo ones. I don't think I've tested the space ones, and the space ones should actually last even longer than the Atmo ones because they don't have to fight gravity. Yeah, this is Rigel's throne! The Green Goblin's flight wing from the Sam Raimi era. Yeah, I can see that. Dylan, this is for the Assertive Cargo Ships mod. If these happen to work in lunar gravity, they'll also be for assertive installations, so there's usually I try and make it so the designs can go across the two mods, so I can take advantage of it. Oh, and whammo! So this thing's going to have a lot of trouble hitting a person. But at least a ship, it'll do a lot of area damage, I think. I must have turned off damage because that didn't take any. That was sensible of me. Global permissions? There it is. No? Guess I've turned it off at the save level. Sweet. Well, I think I've achieved something. Got my space-based drones ready to go, I think, and now I can start adding all of the space cargo ships, which means I'll not be too long before I can replace the regular cargo ships mod with RivalAI properly. Capac and I will be back with some more stationeers tomorrow morning. That's Australia time. On audio, look for tape hiss. Cool. Good idea, Asen. So tomorrow morning is what? It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 16 hours from now? No, 18 hours from now. Capac and I should be back with some more stationeers on Twitch. It should be some good fun because we're now heading into unknown territory, and I have enabled research, so we'll have to play around with that too. Hopefully you guys can come along to that. Thanks for coming, everybody. That's all I've got time for today because I need to try and later this evening record some Survival Impossible so that I can get that edited before the weekend. Yay! Yeah, more stationeers tomorrow. So all that and plenty more to come. And I will see you all then. Thank you for coming, and thank you everybody for your help with the bug squashing. Hopefully we'll be back for more of this soon. See you later.